Doctors are threatening to go on strike about the way that we access our GP. My GP surgery shuts once a month, and if drawn by some malevolent calendar spirit, I always turn up on that day. I find the door closed. And in rugby, all the surgeries seem to conspire to close at the same time, as though practicing a synchronized swimming routine, but without any grace. One more day off won't make the service any better, will it? It merely sharpens the sense that the entire model is cracking, creaking, self-contradictory, and increasingly unable to meet modern expectations, or at least attend to its clients, its patients. The new online booking system was meant to be a great reform. Instead, it's become a bureaucratic Rorschach test. Patients see chaos, GPs see overload, ministers see a neat digital fix that will conveniently generate triumphant press releases. The gap between the lived reality and the policy fantasy is now so wide you could tow an aircraft carrier through it. The BMA's poll says a third of GPs are ready to shut for a day in protest. Nearly half are prepared to send everyone to A&E, which is rather like solving a leak in your own bathroom by flooding the neighbours. Around a quarter would simply switch the system off and hope the phone lines cope. The unifying theme is exasperation. At the heart of it lies the October rule change. GP practices must now keep their online request systems open continuously during working hours. Ministers claim this ends the old 8 a.m. telephone dash. Patients can, in theory, submit a request at any point between breakfast and early evening. The fantasy ends there. In practice, GPs say this produces an unending torrent of messages ranging from the trivial to the life-threatening, all indistinguishable from in format, all jostling for attention in the same digital conveyor belt. One GP said he gets queries about food supplements submitted twice a day. Others are fielding messages from patients currently abroad who become offended when the surgery declines to practice international medicine over WhatsApp. This is not efficiency, it is volume without prioritization, digital noise that now dilutes clinical urgency. And there are real risks. Dr. David Turner describes scanning more than 80 online messages in a single morning, spending barely 2 minutes on each. He recounted a near miss, an urgent home visit need, buried in the middle of dietary questions, unearthed only at 6:20 p.m. That's not a safe system, it's roulette. The BMA insists safeguards were promised in writing back in February: filters, triage tools, limits on demand, triggers for temporary shutdowns. Those safeguards have not materialized. Instead, GPs now face the worst combination: higher demand, higher risk, no extra workforce. As one practice manager put it, turning the system off causes chaos on the phones. Leaving it on causes chaos everywhere else. This is the administrative version of being pecked to death by ducks. Where Streeting, meanwhile, insists that this is modernity, that booking a GP should be as easy as booking a haircut, but the analogy is flawed. Your barber doesn't need to distinguish between cardiac arrest and a vitamin query. Nor is he responsible for triaging the national burden of long-term illness. The government touts rising GP numbers, though many are part-time and the increase is still far below projected need. Yes, some practices have delivered good experiences, some patients welcome the convenience, but as the BBC's interviews now show, and I'm relying slightly on the BBC here, the majority still hit a wall. No appointments online, jammed phone lines, clinics that give the impression of being permanently full. Meanwhile, national dissatisfaction with GP access remains at historic lows. And as always in the NHS, the elderly, the digitally isolated, and the chronically ill lose out first. The tension is not ideological, it is structural. General practice has been asked to absorb more patients with more complex needs, using tools introduced without the staffing to operate them. When ministers claim that the reforms will create quieter phone lines, they miss the point. The pressure has not vanished, it has merely migrated into a digital inbox where human beings must still sift through it manually. Against that backdrop, the threat of shutdowns is not petulance, it's a warning signal. If that system continues in its current form, the surge of low-priority queries could drown the high-priority ones. And when that happens, it will not be the minister giving cheerful interviews who shoulders the blame. It will be the GP who missed the red flag while scrolling through a request about holiday vaccinations. The solution is not another closure day. It's not, frankly, another reform headline. It is investment in triage capacity, better filtering technology, more clinicians, and a recognition that digital first is meaningless without the staff to catch what the algorithm cannot. Until then, patients like me will continue to march up to surgeries perfectly timed to find them shut, the waiting rooms dark, and the system no better for its periodic days of introspection. And each time the suspicion grows, it isn't the patients failing to understand the online system, it's the system failing to understand the patients.